they're dry. You see there's no marrow in the bone. You see they're scattered all over the valley. They ain't even full skeletons. I mean, the bones are scattered all over the valley. They're just bones. But answer me a question, Ezekiel. Can these bones live? Ezekiel answers the only way he knows how to answer. Lord, you know. Critical race theory was born out of critical legal theory. Am I teaching y'all something today? There emerged two common beliefs linking all critical race theories. First, white supremacy has subordinated black people and other people of color. That's just a fact. How in the world are you going to fight against that being taught in any school? White supremacy has subordinated black people and other people of color. That's a fact. Why don't you want that to be taught in school? You let your schools teach us that Columbus discovered America. That's a lie. You let your schools teach us that George Washington couldn't tell a lie. That's a lie. You let your schools teach us that some slave owners were beneficent and good slave owners. There were no good slave owners. Anybody who owned people was evil. That's a lie. You let your schools teach us that Abraham Lincoln was good for Negroes. No, Abraham Lincoln was trying to save the Union. And Abe Lincoln himself said if he could save the Union and keep black people in chains, he would do it. That's a lie. Come on, somebody. You let them teach us about a white Jesus. You let them teach us that Native Americans were the aggressors. Come on, somebody. That white folk had a manifest destiny and that the pilgrims were good at Native Americans. That's a lie. All day, every day, you let them teach us lies. All throughout my history in school, I was taught lies. But you got a problem with critical race theory because it teaches the truth that white supremacy has subordinated black people and people of color. The right to bear arms. Let me just back up a little bit and let me take you on back to the late 1960s when Ronald Reagan was the governor of California. And they were oppressing black folk, and a group of men and women known as the Black Panther Party decided that they were going to defend the rights of black folk. And the Black Panthers decided that the Second Amendment wasn't just for white folk. So they strapped themselves with guns and showed up at the Capitol in California. And when they saw them Negroes with guns, come on, somebody. That's why I say if you ever really want to get gun laws changed, just strap all these Negroes up. They'll change them laws before the week is over. When the Black Panthers, watch this, I want you to read, the California legislator passed what was called the Mulford Act. It was a gun control act that decided who could get guns, who couldn't get guns, what could be in your background, what couldn't be in your background. It was the first time in history that the National Rifle Association, the NRA, supported restrictive gun legislation, all because black folk had the nerve to get strapped. Look at your neighbor and say, neighbor, go get strapped. Amen, somebody. Y'all gonna say Bishop told us to get strapped. I said it. Go get strapped. It just got real quiet up in here. But y'all already know I'm a triple P. Amen. Y'all know what a triple P is, right? A pistol packing preacher. Amen, somebody.
but the essence of growth is change. The being in the road will be the end of the road if you refuse to change.
Get you a little higher, get you a little higher. Go a little deeper, go a little further, go a little further. Come on, come on, come on. Get you a little higher, come on, yeah. Dig a little deeper, dig a little deeper, go a little further, go a little further. Come on, don't stop. The essence of life is growth, but the essence of growth is change. The being in the road will be the end of the road if you refuse to change. Your life will never change until you get disgusted with where you are. Whatever you don't hate is what you tolerate. You must learn from the past, plan for the future, and live for today. For it is your daily routine that determines your success or failure in life. It's the choices that you have made up until this point that will determine the rest of your life. So break the cycle that doing enough is simply good enough. You only get out what you put in, so don't settle for the crumbs when you can have the whole loaf. So push yourself beyond your limitations. Come on. Reach a little higher. Reach a little higher. Dig a little deeper. Dig a little deeper. Go a little further. Come on. Reach a little higher. Reach a little higher. Dig a little deeper. Dig a little deeper. Go a little further. Go a little further. Don't stop. Don't stop. Don't stop. So you gotta break the routine of trying to beat the system. Manipulators will always try to bypass the process for the quick progress. There are no shortcuts to success. There are no elevators to the top. You gotta take it one step at a time. You gotta break the routine of allowing others to get into your head to control who you are and where you're going. You see, when you're about the positive, you're gonna always have haters. But don't let your haters push you down. Let your haters push you forward to the next level. So when people show you who they really are, don't perceive them to be something else that they're not. See, a zebra does not change his stripes. So you gotta keep pushing yourself to the next level. Yeah, there you go. Come on. Go a little deeper. Come on. Yeah. Go a little further. Go a little further. Don't stop. Come on. Don't stop. Come on. Yeah. Reach a little higher. Reach a little higher. Go a little deeper. Dig a little deeper. Go a little further. Go a little further. Come on. Come on. Come on. You got to understand that greatness is the nature that you were born out of. You'll never discover your greatness without hard work and dedication. Greatness says more about who you are and what you expect for yourself. And greatness will always attract greatness. Show me your friends and I'll show you the future. The future. You're just a step away. You're just a step away. You're just a step away. Don't ever give up. Come on. You're just a step away. You're almost there. Come on. You got to push yourself beyond your limitations. You see, there's no mountain too high, no valley too low. You can go where you want to go. It's all in the power of your imagination. If you can see the invisible, you can do the impossible. So stretch yourself. Take yourself to the next level. Come on, come on, come on. Reach a little higher. Dig a little deeper. Go a little further. Come on, come on, come on. Don't stop. Come on. Reach a little higher. Dig a little deeper. Go a little further. Don't stop. Don't stop. Don't stop. Come on. Yeah. Come on. Come on. Blessings are coming your way. Go a little further. Don't stop. Don't stop until you get your dream. Don't stop. Get your dream. Until you get your dream. Come on. Don't stop until you get your dream. Don't stop. Get your dream. Come on. Yeah. Don't stop. Come on. Come on. Come on. Go for the goal. Come on. You gotta go for the goal. You gotta go for the goal. Don't stop. Don't stop. Don't stop. Come on. Yeah. Come on.
I look in the mirror and I like what I see. A strong, beautiful black woman staring back at me. One who's seen a lot of pain and had her share of sorrow, but who never gave up hope for a brighter tomorrow. I've been lied to, cheated on, stolen from, and hit, but it just made me stronger, and I refuse to stoop to their level. I rose above that nonsense and made a liar of the devil. All right now. The devil who said I wasn't good enough, cute enough, or worthy of love. I kicked his butt with divine power from above. Power that says I can do all things through Christ, which strengthens me and brought me out of darkness so that I could see that I'm smart, I'm beautiful, I'm a child of the King. Abundant love for me he came to bring. Oh yes, when I look in the mirror, I love what I see. That strong, beautiful black woman, that woman is me.
.7 WTCC. Good morning and welcome to the spoken word. I'm sorry, the Black Love Experience. Y'all have to excuse me. I've been doing it for a while now, and I still kind of run Mondays into Fridays, and Mondays I'm on the spoken word. Fridays, this is the Black Love Experience. Welcome to the Black Love Experience. Another Friday edition. It is Mother's Day weekend. Celebrating mamas out there. Good morning to all of the mothers. So wonderful having you in our lives. And we want to say happy Mother's Day to each and every one of you. And feel free to call in with your Mother's Day wishes, 413-736-2781. Talking today about the value of Black life in America, the value of Black life in America, in white America. You know, the crazy censors on social media is mind-boggling. You know, every day, literally every single day of the week, I get called the N-word, monkeys, apes, you know, all kinds of derogatory racial epithets on social media, and those accounts stay active. But the moment you talk against white supremacy and racism, you start getting censored. It's crazy. So in my Twitter space, those of you who are in the space now, you'll notice that I had a space scheduled for today's radio program, as I do every Monday and Friday. And the space was scheduled, and I titled the space, let me see what it was. I titled the space, what is Black life worth in white America? What is Black life worth in white America? And tried to start that space several times, and it would not allow me to start the space. Would not allow me to start the space. They flagged it because it had the word white in it, and wouldn't allow. I tried 5 or 6 times, couldn't start the space. So I started another space just called Black Life in America. And that space is now live, and people are on it listening. But they flagged the one who said, what is Black life worth in white America? Because if you talk about white folks, that's a problem. We talk about white supremacy, that's a problem. But if you call us pejorative racial epithets, that's okay. That's fine. That's what we're dealing with today. Ron DeSantis and the Board of Education in Florida basically banned Black history from being taught
in schools, and they called it critical race theory, but basically anything they don't like about America's history of racism against black people, anything they don't like about the history of anti-blackness in America, they can ban that and call it critical race theory. Yesterday, he signed a bill that mandated teaching Asian American and Pacific Islander history. So we knew it was about anti-blackness the whole time. That's what it's always been about. It's always been about anti-blackness, because he doesn't mind you talking about Asian American history, but we're not going to talk about black history because that exposes the wickedness of whiteness in America. And so we're not going to deal with that particular issue. We're not going to deal with the wickedness of whiteness. That's too much for white sensibilities. That's too much, and basically they're saying, basically you're harassing white people if you teach the history of their wickedness toward black people. You're teaching my kids that there's something wrong with them, and that's not fair. It's not fair for white children to learn about the history of racism, but it's fair for black children to continue to experience racism. Absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. The double standard that exists in this nation. Now, there are reports that are going on now that Daniel Penny, the white Marine who murdered Jordan Neely, is being charged by the district attorney, Alvin Bragg, the brother, the black man, is going to charge him with manslaughter. Now, here's the thing. It's insane. I mean, it is absolutely insane for it to take 2 weeks that you can murder a black man on a subway and go home and chill, and only under tremendous pressure, because the New York Police Department was not going to arrest him, wasn't going to charge him with anything. Took the district attorney to decide to charge him 2 weeks later. What is black life worth in America when you can snuff out a black life and go home for dinner? And then we have to debate and impanel grand juries and all kinds of other stuff just to get you charged. I mean, literally, murder. Think about that for a minute. Just think about that. You can murder them on camera and go home for dinner. Absolutely insanity. But that's being black in these yet to be United States of America. HB, what's on your mind, brother? HB, you're in the Twitter space. Good morning. By the way, 413-736-2781 for those that are not on social media who are listening. Over 4,000 watts. Okay, I think we're having a problem getting HB in the
I'm here, Bishop. Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning, family.
All right. What's on your mind, bro?
The amount of the amount of white folk out here that's still denying the system of white supremacy, which is bigger than actual racism.
Mhm.
It's a system that's still designed to protect them. And that's what they are not trying to end. Decade by decade by decade. Everybody always say, oh, I'm nice and friendly with black people. I marched with the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King. I donated to the Black Lives Matter movement and NAACP and all this other organizations. And they continue to say that they are not racist, but they are not doing anything to stop the system of white supremacy in which they benefit from.
Well, you know, Brother Kendry said it like this. There's no such thing as not racist. Either you're racist or you're anti-racist. But there's no neutral ground of just not racist.
Because I got all these people calling me racist, which when do black people become racist?
Right.
I got all these people calling me a racist for exploiting the system of white supremacy or exploiting racism.
Well, Malcolm put it best. Malcolm said they call you racist for resisting their racism.
Yeah. There's so much against what I'm saying as opposed to actually paying attention and listening to what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And so that's why it's best, and I say this every time, to separate from them, because we're going into a new generation. New children are being born, and they're erasing everything that happened. Slowly and surely, they've been burning books for hundreds of years.
Mm.
They are erasing everything that happened to us so that by the time my generation, I'm 34, by the time my generation die out, who's going to be able to teach anything?
Yeah.
And we'll be back in chains once again.
Yeah, they definitely want to they want to remix history. And they want to erase blackness. And they want to erase what they did and continue to do to black people, for sure. Appreciate
That's
you.
That's why they're having sex with us and making sure that our children become white. It only takes a mixed child to have another child with another white, and them to have another child with another white, for your blackness to be completely erased.
Yeah.
And they become white. So we just got to figure out a plan to get away from them.
All right, appreciate you.
Still don't want any type of retaliation. We just need to get away from them.
There you go.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, man. 413-736-2781. Podcast Dre. You're in the building.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, sir.
So, great topic, at least from the little piece I caught as I was coming in, with these whites trying to call us for calling out their BS and their strategies and policies. I think the first thing, we definitely need to just kind of give real education to our people. Like, I was building with some tech heads because, I'm a cybersecurity guy myself, but, you got a lot of people that brag about their white education, but they are silent when it comes to knowledge itself.
Mm.
It sounded like you brothers were kind of tapping onto a little bit. I think it's the knowledge itself combined with the other education that's gonna at least put us in a better position, because look how many black folks, quote unquote, that got money, that by society are considered successful, but yet they turn their back on their people, or they continue to further the agenda of these white folks And I think a lot of these individuals, if they had that knowledge of self to go with that newfound money/resources, they would be trying to put it to better use. A perfect example I could think of off the top was just kind of witnessing what Wesley Snipes was doing back in the day. He had the wealth, but he also had some kind of knowledge of self, because I remember him being associated kind of heavy with the I don't know if it was like the Muslims or the New Wabians. He had some kind of enlightenment somewhere, and he put his mouth was low key. Obviously, couldn't be on front street with it, but he funded a lot of the conscious nation, and then he the nowhere, blah 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 blah. But those things happen when an individual that's in a position. I even throw Brother Kanye and even Kyrie out there, because I know he was going hard defending them. Well, I'm sure a lot of us was defending them to some degree, regardless of the opinion and the right or wrong. I think we got to be on code just defending our people, because these white people will support the lie to the end. Mm-hmm. They may not like each other. They might kill each other down the line, but they agree that they got to kill us today.
Yeah.
And that never changed in their playbook.
Well, the one thing that they unite on, I don't care. I don't care whether they're Democrat, Republican, Libertarian, Green Party, no party at all. One thing that can always unite them across the political and ideological spectrum is anti-blackness.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's funny because even what you just said there, right wing, left wing, I tell like the youngsters, both of those wings is attached to the same damn bird.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
But so I'm glad, like I said, I'm glad that I finally got to at least rap with you, Bishop, because another thought tying to the first opening statement of just trying to have that more knowledge of self, it would be cool if somehow and within Sunday school or somewhere in there, or Saturday afternoons or something, where the churches, the black preachers like yourself that's hip, that's aware of what's really what, and ain't on no coon stuff, to maybe try to implement some black history joints to try to get at the minds of these children,
Yeah. That's where it starts, brother. Appreciate you, man.
Oh yeah, for sure.
413-736-2781, 413-736-2781. M1, you got the microphone.
Good afternoon, Bishop.
How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing good. So, Bishop, I just want to say this. You see, white liberals aren't our allies, because there is something that white liberals do, and that's they cut out every single thing wrong with the Republican Party and Trump. They never cut out anti-black racism. It's one thing I never see white liberals do, and I have only seen two white people who cut out anti-black racism back in Daily, and that guy's Brian Sheep, and the other guy's Dixon White.
All right, I think you faded.
I'm David Pacman, Sam Cedar. They call out every single thing wrong with Trump other than anti-black.
That's true. That's absolutely true. I mean,
these people,
they'll talk about
these people, they aren't my allies.
Yeah, they'll talk about Trump's abuse of women.
Senator from.
They'll talk about Trump's abuse of women. They'll talk about, all of his failed businesses. They'll talk about this, but they won't call him racist.
Yeah, Bishop, for example, now, Ben Cardin from the state of Maryland is about to retire as some seat, but guess what the white liberals are saying? They should replace him with another white man. Black people are the core of the Democrat Party over in flipping Maryland, but we have no black female senator in the Senate. Instead, these so-called white liberals are already saying they should replace them with some Jamie Raskin. So they don't view us in like black liberals see us the same way that conservatives actually view black people. Because let me ask you this question: how many elected white Democratic politicians are married to white people? Sorry, are married to like black people? None. They wouldn't even let their children to marry black people. So white liberals aren't our allies. We need to stay away from these people, because these people are also advocates for white supremacy. The difference is they hide it every single time.
Yeah, well, it's the major difference between the overt racism of the conservatives and the covert racism of the liberals. And Malcolm and Martin told us to watch out for those white moderates, those white liberals, for sure. And you know, the example I use is we go back to 2020 and we look at all of them that came out on the streets with us after the George Floyd murder was viewed on television by millions of people, and they locked shoulder to shoulder with us. And what I said then and what I still say today is they were never out there because of the value of black life. They were out there about politics. They were out there about Trump. They were out there about an election. They were out there about regaining power. That's what that was about. And if you notice, as soon as the Democrats got back in power, because after that election, remember now, 2020 gave Democrats the House, the Senate, and the presidency. All right? Gave them all three branches of government. And they forgot all about Black lives. They forgot all about George Floyd. The president that was elected, who in his first joint session before Congress used George Floyd's daughter as a prop. By the time he had his next joint session of Congress, he was saying, fund the police. Fund the police. Completely forgot about what he promised black people, ignored the fact that they hadn't passed the George Floyd Justice and Policing Act. They had not passed the Lewis Voting Rights Act, hadn't passed anything significant for black people other than making Juneteenth a holiday. Meantime, they were giving away the store to everybody else. You know, Asians and Pacific Islanders, you get a hate crime bill. LGBTQ, you get a hate crime executive order. Everybody else was getting everything, and black folk got Juneteenth and got told to sit down and be quiet. We're not doing that defund the police stuff no more. And on top of that, this Democrat president tried to push legislation to put 100,000 new police on the streets with no accountability measures, without addressing qualified immunity or anything. And that's what we're dealing with. And what they're going to do in 2024, what they tried to do in 2022, scare you into voting for them. You don't want Trump. You don't want Trump. Oh, they're going to use Trump as the boogeyman and tell black people that the sky is going to fall and you're going to be back on the slave plantation if Trump gets in, to frighten you into voting for Democrats. Not vote for us because look what we've done for you when you gave us the House, the Senate, and the presidency. Look what we've been able to accomplish on the black agenda. This is the reason you should vote for us. That's not what they're going to use, because they don't have that. All they have is scare tactics. That's all they got. So it's going to be an interesting election season. And here's the thing. Disrespected black voices make disaffected black voters. Say that one more time. Disrespected black voices make for disaffected black voters. Let me get my man Terrain Walker up in here. Hey, bro, Walker. (413-736-2781) is the number if you want to chime in on the conversation here. If you're listening over the air in the Pioneer Valley. Brother Walker, we're trying to get you in.
Good morning, Bishop. How you doing?
I'm good. How you feel?
Good, good. I have a question for you, and you just touched on it.
Yes, sir.
The situation that you just mentioned is already starting on social media. It's like the DNC and a lot of paid and unpaid black shills are already starting to shut down black people who are having these same concerns that you're voicing. So my question to you is, how can we have these conversations without having people shout us down and get these into the public discourse? That's my question.
Yeah, I think we need to have these conversations regardless. I don't think we're going to stop them from shouting us down, because we know from experience that whenever, as a black person, whether you're male or female or whoever, when you begin to talk against the establishment, the established Democrat machine, and you begin to call them into accountability for what they have and have not done for black people, they have their black sycophants that they'll put on. They don't even have to use white folks against us. They have black sycophants who will come after you to try to discredit you, and they're embedded. They're embedded in the media. You go to most of these media outlets, even those that look black on the outside. Huffington Post, Black Voices, The Griot, so on and so forth. I've been attacked by Roland Martin, God knows how many times. You have these folks who are more Democrat than they are black. And their job is to find these black folk that are telling people, listen, let's not give away 95% of our vote to one party and get nothing in return. You need to go shout those voices down. You need to destroy their credibility. You need to do all you can to turn people away from those voices. That's not going to stop, because there's always going to be House Negroes who and most people, they think coons and House Negroes are only those conservatives. No, you got them among the liberals and the progressives as well. So we're not going to be able to stop them, Brother Walker. But I think what we do is we continue to lift up the voices of those who will go against the grain and try to call them into accountability. I think that's what we got to do. Unholy. You got the mic.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Good morning, Bishop. I'm a big fan, man.
Appreciate you.
I just wanted to speak on, these times that's coming up ahead, these dark days coming up ahead, and you guys are speaking on, their rhetoric will always go back to them harming us. Mm-hmm. And this is why, I focus my people when I'm in Detroit right now, and I'm trying to get this game maker lifestyle out of here and bring that energy towards politics, I should say, and teach people how to be militant, how to protect their communities and possible future generations. Because once this war kick off, once this actual World War III kick off, we know black people are going to be targeted by damn near every group, all these races, and even some black people are going to give up on us and turn us into the man or what may be. But I just wanted to get on here and say, I think everybody should take a step back and look at the world and what is it becoming, and prepare for it.
Yeah.
Don't just sit there and wait for the tide to come. If you can, build a boat. If you don't have a boat, get a surfboard. You can't find a surfboard, find a door like roads.
Yeah.
We have to stay afloat. We can't let this tide hit us. Black people, get your guns, get whatever the hell you can, get educated.
Brother, you talking good. You talking
educate
good.
on your community so you can be there when those people come and try to colonize us once again, or our black land, or our cities.
Yeah.
Whatever the hell else they want to take from us once this war kick off.
Real good. 413-362-781. I'll get your calls in, those of you who were calling in. But brother talking real good. I remember they were doing this town hall, and Killer Mike was talking about how we ain't ready. Yeah, that we talk a good game, but we ain't ready for no war. We not ready. He said, how many of you can grow your own food? How many of you own a weapon? How many of you have a trade with your hand? How many of you, if we had to go into an internal civil war against racist white folks, would be able to survive? That's real talk. And what that brother was saying, that was some real stuff, y'all. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning, Bishop. My message is to the black men, Bishop. Black men need to do another million-man march. They need to announce on all the radio stations and set a date. And black men got to march. They got to talk to each other and make a plan and stop all this killing. Let these people know that black men are going to fight. We're going to fight together. We ain't going to let them kill us in the streets no more. Because it's scary. Because to me, Bishop, black men are kind of quiet. They're quiet. And they're not saying nothing. But we need a million-man march for black men to show the United States of America that this is no more. We are not going to take this no more. Black men got to stand up. Black women can't do it. If black men lead, we'll follow them. And we can all together stop all of this killing and just kind of destroy us. Because if they got the black man, they got us.
All right, sis.
They're talking this, they gonna work. We need a million-man march again.
All right, I appreciate that. I know there's someone who's gonna say what we're gonna do after the march, because that was the important thing. I went to the Million Man March, and I think the most important part of that was what we were assigned to do when we got back to our communities after the march. Marches raise the profile and call attention to the issues of concern, but it's what you do after the march that's important. 413-736-2781. I was reading something by John Pavlovich, and he was asking fellow white people, and this is a preacher, liberal white preacher, who was actively anti-racist, and he was asking them, how much is your family worth? Your son, your sister, your brother, your spouse, your daughter. And he said, would they be worth a riot if they were executed with their faces pressed on the pavement while pleading for breath? And he went on to ask, all these questions about what their lives would be worth. And the gist of it was that if it were white people who were being murdered with reckless abandon, extrajudiciously killed by law enforcement, choked to death on subways, that a street corner bonfire or breaking into the corner store or the destruction of some property to bring attention to the fact that America is not valuing their lives, that white folks wouldn't think twice about doing that. That all the complaining that they're doing about looting and destroying property and all of that, that if it were white people who were being chased down and murdered while jogging, like Ahmaud Arbery, choked to death on the streets, like George Floyd, gunned down in their cars during a traffic stop. That if people rationalized away their death and made excuses for their murders, justified what the police did, that they would move heaven and earth to make sure they didn't die in vain. And if that meant burning down a Target or a police station or damaging some property, so be it. So be it. And you saw that when they went to the Capitol on January 6th. They went there destroying property. 140 police officers were injured. One lost their life. You saw the lengths they were willing to go to for losing an election. What if they were losing their mamas and their daddies and their sons and their daughters on a consistent basis? You can multiply that January 6th riot times 1,000 if these were white folks on the street getting killed left and right on a day-by-day basis every 28 hours. The irony is this, brothers and sisters, in a nation that once put price tags on black people, we're now dealing with that same nation not valuing their lives at all. So the only time black folks were worth something was when they could sell us. Think about that for a minute. Once upon a time, white America valued us as property. Now they value property over us. So we were only worth something to this nation when they could use our labor to build this nation. True words. You got the mic. 413-736-2781. True words. You're on stage. Good morning.
You are absolutely correct in the sense that we were only valued then. But we also, as the gentleman was speaking, we also have, and I've said it in different spaces, I'm disappointed that we don't, go to our city councils, go and demand what white conservatives are demanding. Our legislator, our people who look like us are not sending our messages, and yet we, generally speaking, not specifically, we're sitting back. If the tiniest grievance of white America, as you said, January 6th, then we have a larger grievance over life.
Yeah.
This was an idea that they lost the election. An idea. Okay? Always keep in mind, that's an idea. That's like a whole group of kids storming or destroying a city or a place based on the idea that Sonic the Hedgehog is being held captive there. Okay? It's an idea. And they did it. And their loss of life, this is an idea. My whole first thing is like, we have, major cities. I'm from Chicago. I'm now in Seattle, where we have people sitting in office that looks like us, but are not doing the things that we need. We have schools. We have these things that are not doing the things that we need. Somebody said it best, small elections, local elections, city elections, they're not sexy like the big ones. So they know. And as you said, we're not worth anything other than our consumerism to it. We have never, generally speaking, we've never said, okay, you know what, we're done with this. Consumerism that feeds their power. The excessive consumerism, that feeds their power. In order to force hands, in order to have that conversation, if that is even possible, because we have leverage that we don't use.
Yeah.
The radicalized individualism, if a black person can look at another black person and disregard them based on whatever, you're this, you're that, then they've already won.
The solidarity comes in looking at a Black person. The solidarity comes looking at a Black person and realize that at some point you have a shared experience. At some point. And we have completely, generally speaking, lost a lot of that because we get in our silos, generally speaking, and we go, oh, that person's this, or that person represents that. Oh, you don't. No, we're all still Black Americans. And the problem is that's that divide that has not allowed. And as you said, I was at the Million Man March too. Mm-hmm. We haven't circled back and done the assignments in our community. And part of the assignments in our community is to be community involved and not be a part and go up and look out and point fingers at what's going wrong, but also to get out and make actionable steps to fix it. And it's small things. Looking at your neighborhood, cleaning up the trash, be an example. It's all those goddamn things. But we have left the assignment because we are individualized where, oh, I don't want to do this, or what about this? Wrong. It's a collective thought. We have, generally speaking, lost that collectiveness because they've given us the consumerism and the ideas that we're not connected. And our last thing I'll say, the collective, what breaks my heart is all that energy when somebody dies, a George Floyd or the guy in New York, I'm sorry, his name escapes me, and I apologize at the moment.
Neely.
Where's that solidarity to go to your school boards, to go to your city councils, to go? I'm tired of seeing us marching when somebody has died. We have issues of the living that need to have the same veracity as when somebody dies.
Yeah.
But, okay, let's just wait till somebody else dies, and then we'll march and we'll remember their name, but we won't use that energy to that just, because it's more almost like it's a celebration, I'm going to say it, about the death versus getting into the weeds and doing the hard work for our lives.
Now,
That's all.
I appreciate that, brother, and you hit on some great points, and I'll take it a step further. So many of our own people use Black death as a stepping stone to build their careers as an activist, there are so many people who came out of Ferguson and Baltimore and various places and have catapulted their careers, and now they got book deals and television and this and that and the third, and it all started by being an activist after the death of a Black man. And here's the sad thing, a good number of those people, particularly some of our sisters who made a name for themselves being activists in the wake of deaths of Black men, who now speak disparagingly about Black men, who now have joined white feminists and others and talk grimy about Black men. And you can't be that much of a hypocrite where the only time you got something to say positive about Black men is when they're dead. And we've got to stop that foolishness, and we've got to check people in our community for that kind of nonsense. That you ain't got nothing to say decent about Black men while we're living. Don't run after, the coroner's van when we're dead. Real talk. HB, what's happening? All right, let me get Trans is Beautiful. You got the microphone. 413-736-2781. It's Mother's Day on Sunday. Those of you in the 413, You're welcome to join us at the Spring of Hope Church of God in Christ, 35 Alden Street, Springfield, Massachusetts, 11 o'clock a.m. For our worship celebration and our celebration of mothers on Mother's Day. Trans is beautiful. Unmute your mic. Going once. Going twice. All right. Put the request back in. Let me get Reverend Tim. Reverend Tim Christopher. You got the mic.
Good morning, Bishop, and I appreciate you giving me this opportunity.
Good morning.
But you was on fire. You was on fire. That last speaker was also on fire.
Yeah.
I'm here at the epicenter
all right.
where it all went down here, Minneapolis.
Okay.
And I can tell you this, my friend, those groups walked in here and left here with a large bag of money. And some people who called themselves being on the front line also made a lot of money. But the local Black Lives Matter chapters got nothing. And we're still fighting and begging for these little crumbs. These Democrats are holding these carrots in front of our face, talking about giving us money to help our community. Right now,
well, you know, there were a lot of white philanthropic folks and organizations throwing out money in the wake of the George Floyd thing, just so that they could feel good, feel like they were altruistic, and we've done something for Black folks. We had a major Fortune 100 company here in my city that gave $500,000 to one organization, and it wasn't even the organization that did on the ground work against a police brutality and called police into accountability. They just wanted to feel good about giving Black folks something. And a lot of people capitalized on it. And a lot of people who didn't deserve to get a dime walked away with big bucks.
Oh yeah, that happened. I mean, like I said, they walked from T-shirt sales to George Floyd wristbands to George Floyd armbands. It was nuts here. It was nuts. And now that all the flair is gone, we've got 16, 17-year-old boys running around here shooting people.
Yeah.
We just had a 17-year-old boy hold up a white man, shot him in the chest, killed him, and now all the white people going crazy. And our Black legislators, our Black leaders here now, you ain't heard nothing from them. Ain't heard one word from them.
Wow.
And that's what we're going through right now. It's about to be madness here. The Democrats have the House, they have the Senate, and they have the governorship and everything else here, and they're worried about putting tampons in boys' bathrooms. And I got Black kids laying out in the streets shooting each other with switches on the back of their guns.
Wow. Appreciate you, brother. Yeah. I got to run.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I'm out of time. Don Felton is in the studio. He's coming up next with mid-morning jazz and great Black music. So stay tuned for him. Once again, happy Mother's Day to all of the mothers. To my mom, Mother Delois Swan, to my wife, Lady Cynthia Swan, to my beautiful daughters and daughters in love, who have brought my beautiful grandchildren into the world, and to all of the mothers, mother figures, those who have nurtured and played a role in the raising of children. Mother Mary James, spiritual mom, who helped my wife and I raise our children and even our grandchildren, who just celebrated her 89th birthday a couple of days ago. Happy Mother's Day, Mother James. And to all of the mamas that are out there, to all of you that are out there. Once again, 11 o'clock a.m. on Sunday, if you're in the 413. Check us out at the Spring of Hope Church of God in Christ. I'll be back with you on Monday at 9 a.m. on the Spoken Word radio broadcast, 9 a.m. on Monday morning. You don't want to miss it. More great things to talk about, conversations to have, plotting and planning to do. I apologize to those of y'all who are still in the space trying to get in on the conversation. My time is limited. I wish I had some more time, but I got to make way because great black music is coming up, Mid-Morning Jazz. If you're in the 413 Pioneer Valley, stay tuned next. Don Felton is coming up. Until the next time I talk to you and you talk to me, always remember, God loves you, and so do I. Peace.